Sir Frederick Maurice Powicke was an English medieval historian. He was a Fellow of Merton College, Oxford, a professor at Belfast and Manchester, and from 1928 until his retirement Regius Professor at Oxford. He was knighted in 1946. Life: the son of Frederick James Powicke, a Congregational minister and historian of 17th-century Puritanism, Powicke was educated at Owens College, Manchester, where he took his first degree, and at Balliol College, Oxford, where he took another with first-class honours. From 1908 to 1915 he was a Fellow of Merton College, Oxford, although in 1909 he was appointed as Professor of Modern History in the Queen's University, Belfast, where he remained for 10 years. From 1919 to 1928 he was Professor of Medieval History at the Victoria University of Manchester, and during his time in Manchester he was a member of the Chetham Society and served as a Member of Council from 1920 to 1933. He also served as Ford's Lecturer in English History at Oxford for 1927. In 1928 he became Regius Professor of Modern History at Oxford, remaining in post until 1947. He was President of the Royal Historical Society from 1933 to 1937. He was a tough, difficult man, small in build. At Oxford, he was determined to reinvigorate history there and made the university the leading centre in the country for historical study. Powicke was the author of the volume The 13th Century in the Oxford History of England. In 1909, Powicke married Susan Irvine Martin, daughter of the Rev. T.M. Lindsay D.D., and they had 2 daughters. The daughter Janet married the historian Richard Pears. Works: The Loss of Normandy 1189–1204, Studies in the History of the Angevin Empire, Bismarck and the Origin of the German Empire, Eald of Rievaulx and his biographer Walter Daniel. Essays in Medieval History presented to Thomas Frederick Tout, editor with A. G. Little. Stephen Langton Ford Lectures. Gerald of Wales. Historical Study at Oxford Inaugural Lecture. Robert Grosseteste and the Nicomachean Ethics. Sir Henry Spelman and the Concilia, Raleigh Lecture on History. The Medieval Books of Merton College, a Catalogue. Oxford Essays in Medieval History. Presented to Herbert Edward Salter, editor. The Christian Life in the Middle Ages Essays, International Bibliography of Historical Sciences. 12th year editor. History, Freedom and Religion Riddle Memorial Lectures. Handbook of British Chronology editor. The Administration of the Honour of Leicester in the 14th Century with L. Fox. 3 lectures. King Henry III and the Lord Edward, The Community of the Realm in the 13th Century, 2 volumes. Medieval England, 1066 to 1485. Ways of Medieval Life and Thought, Essays and Addresses. Walter Danielus, Vita Aelredi Abbatis Rievaulx, The Life of Eald of Rievaulx by Walter Daniel, editor. Oxford History of England, 13th century 1216 to 1307. The Reformation in England, Modern Historians and the Study of History, Essays and Papers. The Battle of Lewes 1264 with R. F. Treharne and Charles Lemon. The Universities of Europe in the Middle Ages by Hastings Rashtel, editor with A. B. Emden. Honours: Fellow of the British Academy, 1927. Corresponding Fellow of the Medieval Academy of America, 1929. Honorary Fellow of Balliol College, Oxford, 1939. Knight Bachelor, 1946. Honorary Fellow of Oriel College, Oxford, 1947. Hon. Member of Massachusetts Historical Society, 1947. Hon. Member of American Historical Association. Hon. Member of Royal Irish Academy, 1949. Hon. D.Litt. Cambridge. Hon. D.Litt. Durham. Hon. LL.D. St Andrews. Hon. LL.D. Glasgow. Hon. Litt.D. Manchester, Liverpool, Queen's University Belfast, London and Harvard. Hon. Doctorate, University of Con.